This episode is brought to you by Fond Recollections. Cherish the fond memories of your loved ones with their interactive living obituary.
Ever since he came into our lives, he became one of the family. But now he's gone. Time goes by so fast, I wonder if she'll remember him as she grows older without him. Fond Recollections offers us a chance to remember him when he was young and full of life. With Fond Recollections memorial plaques and website, we can upload all our photos and videos of him. Visit fondrecollection.com today and cherish the happy memories of your loved ones.
Chapter 4. A Dark Past Catching Up. Back at Mount Olive Baptist Church, Reverend Albright held a community meeting addressing crimes in the neighborhood, and as usual, the attendance emotions were high. The church had been a focal point in the community for over 20 years. Even the local gang leaders, who were once friends on the church's sponsored sporting teams, were also members of the church before their life's paths led them towards the same goal, which was to rule the streets of their town. Therefore, Mount Olive Baptist Church was considered a neutral zone for all the criminals in town. It was the only place where all parties could relax and let their guard down for a moment. However, that was about to change. Ever since Reverend Albright took over the struggling young church, he became the only one trying to help end senseless violence. On the day of a planned peace rally, many people came to listen to the Reverend speak, including Thomas. He was there to cover an event for the newspaper and potentially get more information about Jamal Blue's murder. Dee Dee, who shared her story with other mothers who had lost their children, thought this would help her heal with her own child's loss. While she was sharing her experience of loss, a well-dressed stranger sitting at the very back of the church caught the eye of Thomas as he was picking his seat before the Reverend delivered his speech to the audience. Thomas had never seen this man before, and from this man's demeanor, he seemed like a man that demanded respect. After everyone was seated, the Reverend began to speak. For years now, the number of murders in our community has increased. We have children being gunned down while playing, killed while watching television inside their homes, and killed while going to school. These children killed are disproportionately black. The men who represent this community have limited opportunities to succeed and sometimes do whatever it takes to feed their families. Often, our society's men pick up guns and choose the path of crime, which leads to robberies, shootings, and murder. Yes, even the murder of Jamal Blue. His name shall not be forgotten. Everyone in the church was quiet and focused on the Reverend as he continued his heartfelt, charismatic speech. The result of all of this is prison. And as you all know, black men are given longer sentences than others. These brothers are faced with leaving their women behind to provide and protect the family. And often the brothers leave for years, and sometimes forever. Please remember that the government didn't make any brother commit a crime, but will make damn sure that he will remain in prison or jail for a longer time than any other prisoner. That is why we must stop doing the work for them and finally come together as one and support each other in all aspects of life, be it business or brotherhood. If not, we will have no chance to survive in a country that has hated and deprived us for hundreds of years. The women in the congregation could be heard gasping as they listened to these words come out of the Reverend's mouth. Now, let us talk about guns in our community. How and who brings these objects of oppression and danger into our town? Why is it that most of the gun violence happening in the state is in our town? I will tell you why. Because that is how they want it. It has been this way for years. All the crime men on this damn side of the railroad track. Now our beautiful black women are left raising their children by themselves. What woman envisions herself as a little girl raising children by herself? I'll answer that for you. None. All of the women nodded in unison as they heard Albright speak these words. They are forced to be the mother and the father all at once. This leaves a woman alone trying to raise a man, which is not impossible but is damn hard to do correctly. If God forbid they do not get it right, their sons will look for father figures outside of their homes. This can lead them to become drug dealers or pimps. These women are forced to work long hours, working 2, maybe 3 jobs to provide for their families, while the children are left with the television and the streets to provide role models. My friends, both options are not ideal for raising children. All it takes is negative images of us on television being criminals, thugs, or gay, and the next generations will think this behavior is acceptable and will emulate it. Then we will have future generations lost. We got to stop this cycle now, not next week, not next year, but now. The crowd's emotions were high as everyone started to gasp and sigh. People, I for one am tired of burying our young men and women. The senseless killings must stop. Our church, Mount Olive Baptist, will play a critical role in addressing gun violence and assisting in creating a tranquil community for all of us. As a member of this community and a leader of faith, I will work to devote myself and the church to move our people towards others who will contribute to this cause against the unjust criminalization of black men fighting the corrupt judicial system. The Reverend was about to continue before he glanced at the back of the church, and he could not believe who he saw sitting all the way in the back. It was Bells. No, not Bells. Anyone but him. How the hell is he out of prison? Reverend Albright thought to himself as he stood frozen for half a minute. Bells was an old school drug dealer that Reverend Albright worked for before giving his life to the Lord. The Reverend thought to himself that Bells was supposed to be in prison for life. How did he get out? Reverend Albright was forced to come up with random scenarios like Bells snitching to get out of jail quickly, or that Bells straight up broke out somehow. Whatever was the case, one thing was for sure. Bell's presence could only mean that shit was about to change in the community, and it was not for the better. The Reverend suddenly caught himself and tried finishing the speech, but soon started stumbling over his words. A strong feeling of worry took over the usually smooth and charismatic speaker as he finally spoke. Well, I seem to have talked up here long enough. Can the Mount Olive Baptist church singers lead us in a song of spiritual unity? The choir rose from their seating positions and began to sing. The song even had Thomas, the only white face in the church, shouting with joy. Reverend Albright tried to leave the church by the side entrance without being noticed, when suddenly gunfire erupted from outside. The shattered glass came flying into the church as the crowd's loud singing turned into cries of fear. Everyone started to run towards the exits, and unfortunately, the elderly was forced to hide in the pulpit. Thomas quickly tried to help some children who were separated from their mothers. Dee Dee, who was just re-entering the church after talking to her husband in the parking lot, quickly grabbed her children and started running, fearing the worst had happened to her husband. The scene was absolute chaos. Everyone ran in a panicked state. Everyone except Bells. Bells never moved from his seat. His eyes were firmly targeted onto the Reverend as if there was no way he was going to let the Reverend get out of his sight. All those built-up emotions and things to say that were boiling within Bells were now ready to come out, as he had spent years behind bars waiting for this exact moment of revenge. Once the dust of chaos subsided and the evening approached, the police came to the church to ask the Reverend some questions. The death toll of the whole incident was identified as 10 being dead and many injured. One of the dead was Local Blues driver. No one could believe that the church would ever become a crime scene. It had now become evident that a gang war had begun. After everything was taken care of, Reverend Albright looked out for Bells as he quickly made his way to his car. On his way to the car, the Reverend thought, "There's sure going to be a lot of funerals in the coming days. I better keep my energy up." Once seated, Reverend Albright's driver started the car and almost began pulling out of the driveway when suddenly the car's passenger door opened, and it was Bells, who looked incredibly pissed. The Reverend shouted at his driver to pull off at full speed, but received no feedback as the driver became frozen and dared not to cross Bells as he knew who Bells was. "Leaving so soon, Rev? You didn't even bother saying hello. I know you saw me when you were preaching. I see you can still talk shit. Hopefully your precious community do not believe that shit. Do not think for a second. I did not see you trying to sneak out the side door. Trust and believe I'm going to be on your ass until you make everything right for me." Reverend Albright hesitantly replied. My brother, you got it all wrong. I don't talk bullshit no more. Everything I do is for the community. And my words are from the Lord. When did you get out of prison? I hope you're not a snitch or did something worse. You know brothers don't take kindly to that type of shit. Watch your fucking mouth, nigga. Bells continued. I know your ass has not changed. You a small-time hustler, and you are always going to be one. Now what happened to taking care of your brother while I was locked up? You motherfuckers left me to rot. Left me for dead up in that bitch. You left my Dee Dee to take care of herself. Got my daughter struggling to survive. Nigga, don't play games with me. Reverend Albright was doing a commendable job until now of keeping his calm, but now started to lose it as soon as Bells pulled out a gun and pointed it at Reverend's head, which made him start jabbering to avoid any altercations. Hold on a minute now, Brother Bells, said Albright. What are you doing, man? This is not you. Calm down for a second. We both know murder was never your style. You need money? I will get you some money right now. Let us go to my house. Why are you doing this unnecessary shit? Put that gun away, brother. Come on. Bells stated, see, that's that fast-talking punk motherfucker I know. Yes, I want the money. All the goddamn money you owe me. And since my grandchild was murdered, yeah, I'm all about that murder game, bitch. Now drive this fucking $230,000 car you got. That shit serves as proof of the blood-sucking vampire you really are to this community. Soon enough, the men were driving up the Reverend's long driveway leading to his estate. Bells could not believe his eyes. The Reverend had acres of land and 2 houses on the property. He thought, how in the hell did this guy not send money for my commissary? He's not even providing for my daughter. She grew up in the same housing projects that's only miles from his church. Dee Dee was only a baby when Bells went to prison, and her mother never brought her to visit Bells in prison. Bells did not want to see her or even build a relationship with her. He was on a life sentence, and it did not make any sense for him to try to become a part of Dee Dee's life if he could not protect her or her mother. But the Reverend knew the code, and he did not follow suit. Yeah, this motherfucker is going to pay dearly for that shit, thought Bells with clenched fist. Once they got out of the car, Bells put his gun back into his jacket as he knew the Reverend would not dare try anything, knowing his situation. Bells knew that he had the Reverend on the ropes now. Both men entered the extravagant estate and were greeted by 2 beautifully exotic young women, lightly dressed and waiting for the good Reverend to arrive. The women barely spoke English and were very obedient. Bells was right. The Reverend never changed. He just found a new hustle. Come on in, man. Hola, baby girls. Please go upstairs while I talk to my visitor.
Sí, we go upstairs, papi,
said one of the 2 young women as they obediently obliged. Nigga, now I see why you live out here in the boondocks. So no one can see your nasty ass with these young girls. Where the hell did you find them girls from? Cuba? Do they even speak English? Asked Bells. Hell no. Dominican Republic. I like my Spanish women black. They are not girls. Shit. They are 19 years old. That's a grown-ass woman in their country and America. Plus, you know I always like them exotic bitches. That good hair and their big culo was always my weakness. I also save a ton of money by not having to buy hair weave, said the otherwise holy Reverend as he laughed. Oh, you speak Spanish now? Niggas, some beautiful sisters here in America with good hair and big culo too. And them bitches wear hair weaves too. You are just trying to avoid them sisters at the beauty shop from getting in your ass over them Dominican bitches. Do you know those motherfuckers do not even think they are black? Those 2 bitches you got are darker than us. Man, they even treat Haitians like shit on their island. But fuck all that. Where the fucking money at, fool? Nigga, we treat Haitians like shit over here too, countered Albright. I will go get your money, just let me go into the parlor and get it from the safe real quick. Oh, you must think I'm stupid. I'm going with you to get mines, commented Bells. Both men entered the parlor and Reverend Albright opened the safe, which was stacked with money and jewelry. Bells started grabbing all the money and stuffing it in a trash bag taken from the room. The smile on the Reverend's face quickly disappeared and was replaced by a stone look as he saw all his belongings being taken from him while he watched helplessly. The Reverend knew that this was not the end of Bells' torment and that he needed to figure out a way to get rid of Bells before he stripped away everything the Reverend had built up over the years in his attempt to reinvent himself. I wonder if anyone else knows that this motherfucker Bells is over at my place, thought the Reverend to himself. Bells finally said, "This is a good start, Rev. And since you drove me out here in the damn boondocks, I'm taking those car keys to that Bentley outside too, you dig?" With a look of reluctance on his face, the Reverend gave the keys to his luxury car. Bells smiled as he walked out of the estate, and the Reverend watched him drive off his property with disdain in his eyes. As soon as Bells was off the estate, the Reverend made a call. "Hey man, guess who was at my church during the community peace rally for unity?" "No, it was Bells. How the hell did that nigga get out of prison?" "You said that he would never see the light of day out here. But the nigga is here in my house, taking my money, jewelry, and the new car. Shit, I'm glad he did not take my babies. Now what are you gonna do about this?" "What do you mean it's not your problem? If I have a problem, then motherfucker believe that you got a big ass problem too. We are tied to the hip." "Okay. Now please give me another car." "Yeah, the same type, but this time a convertible. I need to show that motherfucker he did not stop shit. But on some real talk, we need to take care of the situation before it gets out of hand." "All right. I'll see you there. But I need the car tomorrow, you hear me?" "All right. Thank you."
Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you had fun or picked up anything from this episode, please assist by hitting the like, subscribe, and notification buttons. You can also comment and share our content. These small things really help our channel and means a lot to us. Also, special thanks to our Patreon supporters. You guys are the heartbeat of this channel, and we can't thank you enough for being so generous. If you'd like to join our Patreon community, please click on the link below. You can contribute as little as $5 per month. You can get all kinds of perks. You can even buy merchandise of your favorite characters at our shop store. Click on the link provided below. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, remember you are cherished by us, so be kind and know that we consider you as family.